welcome back to Row & Co Farms. Welcome to the Homestead Kitchen. Oh, it's good to be back in the kitchen. I'm gonna do some fall projects today, some cooking projects and just some things around the house that I need to get done. I've already been out and picked a beautiful bouquet this morning. I mean, just fantastic. Look at these colors on these dahlias. Just a nice little pick-me-up this afternoon. I've got a ton of eggs. I also have about 6 or 7 dozen in my fridge. I want to get those in the freeze dryer. I also have a bunch of okra that I want to pickle and can, and I need to make some cowboy candy also. So yeah, just a few little small things to take care of around the house. I also want to, I have several baskets here that have, this is dried okra and sunflowers. Also have here some dried beans. So these are all for seed saving purposes. So I thought maybe we could take care of those and get those put away and just, yeah, do some fall things. I'm really excited to be feeling a little bit better again. I am still going through radiation treatments right now, but I'm still early into the treatment, so I still feel pretty good. So let's do some stuff around the house. Check out my pretty fall arrangement. Sorry, words still fail me sometimes, but this beautiful arrangement, oh my gosh, I love it so much. So these are dried hydrangeas from my yard, and then the rest is all fake florals, believe it or not, that I have been picking up, just different ones here and there when I go to Goodwill and other thrift stores, because florals are expensive and I don't want to pay for florals. And so, yeah, I found a couple of these little funny looking things. I think that's supposed to mimic a milkweed maybe, I'm not positive, but then just these leaves are also fake, and just a couple other little pieces of greenery in there, but I think that looks really fabulous, and it's going to take us all the way through until we decorate for Christmas. Also got a couple of little things at the thrift store the other day. Again, these little leaves. I found this pear candle, and I had the brass candlesticks in this little pumpkin, and then I also got some other, candles and stuff as well at the thrift store. It was just a bag of random candles, so I've put those all around the house in different places. Cleaning up some stuff over here, just taking out some old pots and pans and cast iron that I'm not going to be using anymore. I'm going to be giving those to my daughter. Yeah, we just have some stuff to do. So if you guys want to come along for today's adventures, let's do it. Okay, I've got everything pretty well separated. I don't have a ton of okra, but I have enough to do maybe 5 or 6 jars. We have a little bit of jalapeno here. This is probably enough to do maybe 3 or 4 jars of cowboy candy, maybe not even that much, maybe just a couple. And then here, I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with these. These are also a spicy pepper, so I'll probably add those in with my cowboy candy. And honestly, what I could do is just add these in with the cowboy candy, and they'll just kind of offset the spice a little bit. And then we'll ferment these. We'll pickle these, and we'll pickle these green beans too. Sounds like a plan. And then these are just like some bell peppers. I'll probably just chop those up and we'll eat those. So I'm gonna be using mustard seed, peppercorns. I have a few different varieties and colors. Have some celery seed, dill seed, crushed red pepper. Salt will be added into my vinegar liquid and dissolved, and so we will add that in later. So I'm gonna do about a half a teaspoon of mustard seed in each jar. The spices are up to you. You can use whatever spices you like. I'm hoping that I'll get enough stuff to pickle 12 jars. That might be wishful thinking though. All right, celery seed, I'm just gonna shake a little into each jar. go. Dill, I'm gonna do the same, about a half a teaspoon of dill seed. When you're canning, you don't really want to add the fresh herbs. It kind of turns a little bit bitter, so, or the dried herbs, so to speak. So I don't actually add dill, you know, herb in when I do canned stuff. All right, so I'm gonna do just a little bit of this crushed red pepper. This is optional. We like it a little bit spicy. I'm also gonna add a little jalapeno to it, so I'm not gonna go too crazy. Ooh, I hear my grandbabies. I think they're coming to visit me. Oh, I think they are, but I hear screaming. That's not a good sign. All right, so I have black peppercorns, green peppercorns, pink peppercorns, and white, because I'm just extra like that. And we're just going to do a few of each kind in each jar. Okay, the green. Again, dried pepper doesn't do as well in here as the peppercorns do. That's why we do peppercorns. Excuse me. Ooh, the pepper just got me sneezing. All right, we are done with that part. Okay, so I've washed up all of my veg. The good thing is with okra and with the peppers, all these are gonna go in whole, and so I don't really have to cut anything. Same with the green beans. I just trimmed off the little tips. I'm gonna trim down a few of these stems so they're not quite so long. And then with the okra, same thing. There's a few that have some longer tips in there, and we'll just chop those off. But other than that, everything goes in whole, so this is a pretty easy project. I always make sure to pack my jars really, really tightly. That way, once you add your water and it's boiled in the water bath canner, things shrink up a little bit and your jar will still be really full if you make sure you pack your food in there tightly. Now I'm topping off my jars with my vinegar and salt brine and just bringing that up to a 1/2 inch headspace. And then I'll be topping this with my lids and my rings. And I always use 4 jars lids to do all of my canning. And I'll leave a link for them down below where you'll get 10% off your order if you use the link. This recipe for cowboy candy from my friend Ann's book, A Farm Girl's Guide to Preserving the Harvest. I'll link it down below if you're interested, but the cowboy candy recipe is in here, and this is the one I always use. So I'm going to be adding apple cider vinegar, garlic powder, sugar, turmeric, and celery seed. I like to chop my cowboy candy into rings, but you can make this into any shape that you want. It can be little chunks or it can be diced into little bits, but I like mine in rings. I'm just bringing the jalapenos to a boil in the brine and letting them get soft for a few minutes, and then I'll be adding them into my jars and then topping them off with the liquid. Next, I'm wiping down the edges of my jars and then adding the lids and the rings, and I'll be processing them in the water bath canner for 15 minutes. So let's take all of these cayenne peppers. Like I said, I know they're still green. I picked them a little early because I didn't want them to be quite as hot, but we're going to ferment them and make some hot sauce out of them. So I just kind of rough chop them into a couple of pieces, take the end off and toss them into my jar. A tablespoon of salt, maybe a tablespoon and a half of salt, and then fill this up with filtered water. Just for a second here, I'm going to kind of shake it and get my salt dissolved in there. I've got plenty of liquid. I'm going to use my weight in here. It's not going to be enough. Let's see here. Maybe I'll use this and the weight. Then I'll add another one of my airlocks on top of here. And there we go. We're gonna let that sit for about 5 or 6 days, maybe longer. We'll just have to kind of see what it's looking like. Sometimes I let it go a couple weeks, but we just want everything to stay submerged below the liquid, which we have done. All right, we're just gonna set that in a cool, dark place and let it do its magic. The next thing that I want to do is freeze dry a bunch of these eggs. So I just need to get my freeze dryer started. It's really simple, guys. When you start the freeze dryer, you press start. And then you have to wait 15 minutes before you can put anything in here. Since I'm going to be doing eggs and it's a liquid, these trays are really hard to carry when they are full of liquid. So I'm going to go ahead and put my trays into the freeze dryer, and then when I have everything ready, I will just kind of pour the eggs into the trays here. It's going to take them probably 2 days to freeze dry, so we'll go ahead and get that going. And then you just close it, and while we're prepping the eggs, this will be getting cooled off and it'll be ready to go. I probably have about 12 dozen eggs, so that's a bunch. I need to get them started here, so let's get them out. We'll start cracking them into a bowl, we'll get them mixed up and blended, and then we'll pour them into the pans. Okay, so I'm gonna crack them into this bucket, but first I'm going to crack each one into a bowl and then put it in the bucket. you never know if one of these was potentially like fertilized and left out. Generally they're not, but I just want to make sure that we don't put a gross one into there. And we'll save all of the eggshells and give those to the chickens. They always enjoy them. Chicken food. Some of these dried okra pods apart and get the seeds out, and we're going to do the same with these sunflower seeds as well. And then I also have these green bean pods that have dried out that we're going to take the seeds from. So let's start with the okra. This big flat bowl will help catch all of the seeds. I'll be honest, my favorite part of the okra when I eat it is the seeds. I think they're like just neat. They're kind of crunchy. I don't know, something about okra seeds. They're round. Most seeds aren't round, but these are round. I don't know, I like them.
I've been saving my okra seeds for about 5 years now, and so this makes them more adaptable in my area. They have been able to withstand the conditions here, and they're just really a hardy variety for me now. I've started taking the sunflower seeds off of the flower heads. They're a little bit more difficult to remove. They have actually been sitting and drying for quite a long time. But once I get all these seeds off, I will be able to plant an entire field of sunflowers with all of these little seeds that I have. There's at least 500 seeds here.
So here's all my sunflower seeds. There's a little bit of the kind of chaff in there, but I'm not really worried about that.
Seed saving is just a really economical way to have seeds for the next year. You'll have hardier varieties because they've been adapted to your weather conditions, but it also is money saving. This is probably $10 to $15 worth of sunflower seeds if I purchase them in individual packages. So this is a great money saver for me. Always make sure to label your bags with your seeds. I can't tell you how many times I have left bags of seeds unlabeled, and then I look at them a year later or 2 years later and I have no idea what they are. Usually you can tell just by looking at the seed generally what variety it is, but it's really hard to tell specific types of flowers with that. So make sure you write it down. Always write it down. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. We've had an amazing day in the kitchen. We got so many projects done, and I feel like I've checked a whole bunch of boxes today, and that really makes me feel good. We got our hot sauce fermented. We got all of these beautiful jars pickled and canned and ready to go into the pantry. We have 3 different seeds saved for next year, and I can't wait to have a whole bunch of seeds for next season. All those sunflowers are going to be planted into a field next year. Those are going to be beautiful. Just imagine that's probably 500 sunflowers right there in one little bag. So I just have to dream about the future and what we're going to be able to accomplish with all those seeds. We got our eggs in the freeze dryer. Those will still take a couple of days to get done, but we got a lot accomplished today, guys, and I really appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to see you next time here at Row & Co Farms. Thank you.